Imagine you have a friend who walks into any room and commands attention without even trying. They're not flashy or loud. They don't seek the spotlight. Yet people naturally gravitate toward them, drawn in by an almost magnetic intrigue. Meanwhile, you find yourself overthinking every text you send, always being the one to initiate conversations, and rarely getting the same energy back. It feels frustrating and unfair, doesn't it? What if everything you've learned about building connections is backwards? Most of us believe love and friendship come from effort, always being available, always doing more, always showing how much we care. It sounds noble, even selfless. But what if that approach is actually sabotaging your relationships and draining your energy? Here's a hard truth. Real desire, respect, and connection often begin the moment you stop chasing and start standing still. Not literally doing nothing with your life, of course, but cultivating an inner strength, something ancient and powerful. The Stoics knew this. Inner strength, not frantic pursuit, creates lasting influence. You don't have to beg to be chosen. You just have to become the kind of person whose presence draws others in without asking. That's what we're diving into today. How to flip the script and let people start chasing you by changing how you show up. Not for them, but for you. If you're ready for a perspective shift that blends ancient wisdom with real-world insight, do me one simple favor. Hit that subscribe button. It's the easiest way to let me know we're on the same path, building something solid, grounded, and real from the inside out. Now let's dive in. The problem with chasing, effort versus attraction. Let's be honest, we've been taught that love is about effort. Text first, plan all the dates, keep the spark alive by always doing more. It sounds noble, but it's exhausting. And here's a hard truth. When you're always the one reaching out, you're sending a message, I need this more than you do. That changes everything. The energy shifts, the dynamic tilts. Suddenly, you're not someone they feel lucky to talk to. You're just always available. And deep down, we don't chase what we already have. We chase what feels just out of reach. Now, this isn't about playing games or acting aloof to manipulate someone. That's insecurity in a mask, not real confidence. The Stoics taught something deeper, self-restraint, the power to pause instead of reacting on impulse. As Epictetus put it, no person is free who is not master of themselves. Before you send that next text, just because you're anxious, stop. Ask yourself, am I doing this to genuinely connect or to ease my own fear? See, attraction builds in contrast. When someone hasn't heard from you in a while, they wonder what you're up to and why you aren't seeking them. That curiosity is powerful. It draws them toward you without you saying a word. But if you're always in their inbox, there's no gap to spark curiosity. When you initiate every conversation, you also rob them of the chance to reach out or invest. How can someone chase you if you never stop running toward them? So try this. If you're always the first to text, take a small step back. Maybe pause for a couple of days, not in anger, just in calm. See what happens. Who notices your silence? Who reaches out when you don't? When you stop rushing to be seen, you'll see who's actually looking. When you stop talking just to not feel ignored, you'll find out who listens when you're quiet. This kind of restraint isn't weakness, it's strength. Socrates said, "To know thyself is the beginning of wisdom." Every time you hold back that urge to over-text or over-explain, you build self-knowledge and self-respect. You become the person whose attention is a gift, not a given. Less is more. The power of mystery. Most people don't realize how much they give away in the first few conversations. In our eagerness to connect, we often overshare our entire life story, every hobby, opinion, and story from our past, hoping to prove we're likable. But when you lay out everything up front, you remove all mystery. As the old saying warns, familiarity breeds indifference. If there's nothing left to discover, intrigue fades. The Stoics believed in measured expression. It wasn't about hiding who you are, it was about understanding the value of depth. There's a reason we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. When you say less, You create an opening for the other person to lean in, to ask questions, to wonder. Your words carry more weight because you're not spending them cheaply. It's not the laundry list of facts about you that draws someone in. It's the curiosity and emotion your presence evokes. Carl Jung compared meeting a new person to a chemical reaction. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. But transformation requires a bit of the unknown. A little mystery ignites the imagination and leaves them wanting more. In practice, the next time someone asks about you, don't unload your entire resume of interests and life history. Give them just a glimpse. For example, if they ask what you do for fun, you might say, "Honestly, it depends on the week. Sometimes I get lost hiking in the mountains, other times I'm hosting a dinner for friends." Short and intriguing, you're offering a spark, not the whole story. Now they have something to chew on, something to be curious about. Aristotle said the aim of art is to show the inward significance of things, not just the outward appearance. You are the same way. You don't need to spill every detail of your life to be understood or appreciated. Share the pieces that matter most and let the rest be discovered over time. This isn't playing games. It's pacing. You're allowing a connection to unfold like chapters in a book, rather than reading the last page first. When someone feels there's more to learn about you, they'll keep reading. Speak simply, but leave a few pages unturned. People chase what sparks their wonder, not what they already know by heart. Respect your time. Boundaries boost value. There's a pervasive myth that being constantly available makes someone value you more. Answer every text in seconds, drop everything when they call, always say yes, then they'll see how devoted you are, right? Unfortunately, the opposite is usually true. If something is always available, we start to take it for granted. It's human nature. We value what feels a bit scarce, and we undervalue what we can get anytime. Think about it. If you reply to someone immediately every single time, it sends the signal that you're just sitting around waiting on them. Your time appears to have no value of its own, but your time does have value, and you need to treat it that way before anyone else will. Having boundaries, whether it's not answering the phone during dinner or not dropping your plans whenever they snap their fingers, isn't about being cold or playing hard to get. Boundaries are simply standards that show you respect yourself. When you demonstrate that you value your own time and energy, others tend to value them more too. If you politely say, "I can't talk right now, I'll get back to you later," it subtly tells them your life is full, and your attention is something that must be earned. It might feel uncomfortable at first if you're used to always being available. Start small. This week, say no once to something you'd normally agree to out of habit. Or let a text sit until you've finished what you're doing, instead of dropping everything to respond. The world won't end, but you'll have made a statement to yourself. My time matters. Remember, your presence is a gift, not a given. If you make yourself too readily available, that gift loses its luster. When you have your own priorities and purpose, spending time with someone becomes a choice, not your default state. People notice that. They might not say it aloud, but they sense that you move with intention. They'll realize they can't expect you to be at their beck and call, and that makes your time with them more meaningful. Carry yourself like someone who has purpose and direction, and others will adjust their expectations. They'll learn they need to fit into your schedule, not that you'll abandon your own life at a moment's notice. And ironically, that makes them respect and want your time even more. Give space for longing. Let them miss you. When you really care about someone, it's natural to want to be with them as much as possible. We think staying constantly in touch will keep the connection strong, but counterintuitively, too much presence can smother a connection. Even a fire needs air to burn bright. If you never give it space, it dies out. Likewise, if there's no breathing room in your interactions, there's no opportunity for longing or curiosity to develop. If you're always texting, always available, the other person never gets a chance to miss you. There's no suspense or anticipation because every moment is filled. The Stoics understood the value of a little detachment. It doesn't mean you care less. It means you trust the relationship enough to give it some room. When you step back just a bit, it allows the other person to step forward. When you're not always talking, they can wonder how you are or what you're doing, and that spark of wondering is healthy and powerful. This isn't about playing mind games or making someone jump through hoops. It's about balance. If one person is doing all the chasing and the other is always drifting, both of you will feel off kilter. The chaser grows anxious. The one being chased feels pressured or complacent. So if you notice you're always the one keeping the conversation alive or planning meetups, try allowing a little distance. It might feel uncomfortable at first. You might worry, will they forget about me? But those quiet gaps are exactly when someone can realize your value. Huh? I haven't heard from them. I kind of miss them. They can't feel that if you never go quiet. Give it a try. Next time you're tempted to send a text purely because you're uneasy with the silence, pause. Let a few hours or even a day go by while you focus on other things. Often, you'll find they reach out on their own, and when you do reconnect, it'll likely be with more enthusiasm, because now it's mutual, not one-sided. Remember, you don't have to be in someone's face to be on their mind. Sometimes, stepping out of the spotlight for a bit is exactly what makes someone realize how much your light means to them. The power of pause. Silence speaks volumes. We usually think of communication as the words we say, but silence is a powerful part of communication too. Most people find silence uncomfortable. They rush to fill it with chatter or extra texts, worried a quiet moment might be awkward. The irony is that being at ease with silence can actually strengthen a connection. Have you ever noticed how confident someone seems when they aren't afraid of pauses in conversation? They answer when they're ready, not a millisecond sooner. They can simply sit with you without scrambling to say something. That calm presence speaks volumes. It says, I'm comfortable here with you and with myself. When a conversation lulls, instead of panicking, try just being present. Take a breath. Smile. If you're together, maybe look around and appreciate the moment. If you're on the phone, don't be afraid of a thoughtful pause. Often the other person will fill the space, ask a question or share something deeper, because you gave them room to do so. And if they don't fill the silence, that's okay too. You're showing that you can simply enjoy a moment together without needing to perform. A lot of communication is nonverbal. Your ease or unease in silence is felt by the other person. If you're calm, they'll feel calmer too, and the interaction gains a layer of trust. It's like saying, we don't need to be talking every second. I feel safe with a bit of quiet. The next time you catch yourself adding a nervous ha-ha to a text or rambling just to keep a conversation going, consider doing nothing instead. Let the silence linger a little longer. In a world of constant pings and notifications, your willingness to not rush a reply stands out. Silence, used intentionally, becomes magnetic. It gives your words more impact when you do speak. It lets the other person's words land more deeply because you actually paused to listen. Often it's in those quiet moments that people truly feel heard and understood. So master the pause. Don't rush to fill every gap. You'll be surprised how much more meaningful your interactions become when you embrace a little quiet. In a noisy world, the one who remains calm and comfortable in the silence is unforgettable. Own your worth. You are the prize. One of the most magnetic qualities in the world is quiet self-confidence, knowing your own worth. Think of people who don't chase approval. They aren't arrogant or showy. They just seem secure in who they are. That kind of security is contagious. When you carry yourself like you are the prize, as if your time, love, and company are valuable, others tend to agree with you. On the other hand, if you act like someone is doing you a favor by being with you, it sends the message that you think they're above you. That's how you end up tiptoeing around, trying to please them and fearing any misstep. But you are not a supporting character in someone else's story. You shouldn't put anyone on a pedestal while shrinking yourself. Here's the truth. People respect those who respect themselves. If you have your own life and self-esteem, Being with someone becomes a choice, not a necessity for you. And that makes your presence more attractive. You're coming from a place of wanting someone, not needing them. Start seeing yourself as a catch. Remind yourself of the good things you bring to any relationship. Maybe your loyalty, humor, creativity, kindness. Own those qualities. When you truly believe in your own value, it subtly changes how you carry yourself. For example, a person who knows their worth isn't afraid to express their opinions or say no when they need to. They won't laugh at a joke they find offensive just to fit in. Ironically, showing a bit of backbone and authenticity usually makes people value you more. At the same time, someone who values themselves won't stick around if they're being treated poorly. You teach others how to treat you by how you treat yourself. If you don't tolerate disrespect or one-sided effort, the right people will either step up or step out. And if they step out, they were not the right people. This doesn't mean you become inflexible or never compromise. It means you approach relationships as an equal, not as a beggar for affection. You're not there to prove your worth. You already know it. If a connection isn't mutual or healthy, you have the strength to walk away. More on that next. When you internalize this mindset, I'm worthy of great treatment, and I'll be okay whether or not this person stays, something wonderful happens. You relax. You stop overthinking every word and action. You become more authentically you. The nervousness fades because you're not auditioning for a part in their life. You're living your own life. Paradoxically, that's exactly when others are most drawn to you. We all gravitate toward people who are comfortable in their own skin. So remember, you are the prize, not in an egotistical way, but in a self-respecting way. Keep your standards. Don't be so hungry for love that you accept crumbs. When you carry yourself with quiet confidence, you won't feel the need to chase anyone. The right people will recognize your value on their own and will be eager to meet you at your level. Know when to walk away. Graceful exit. Finally, the hardest lesson. Sometimes the most powerful move is to walk away. If you've given your time and respect to someone and it's not being returned, or the vibe has shifted and you're no longer valued, you have the strength to leave. Not as a tactic to make them chase you, but because you owe yourself that respect. It's tempting to chase harder when you feel someone pulling back. Maybe if you send another sweet message or clarify your feelings one more time, it will fix things. But ask yourself, has that worked so far? If you've tried communicating and nothing changes, more chasing will only erode your self-esteem. The Stoics remind us to focus on what we can control. You cannot force someone to feel or act differently. What you can control is how you respond. And walking away from a one-sided or unhealthy situation is one of the most empowering responses there is. Leaving doesn't mean you didn't care or that the time together didn't matter. It means you care about yourself enough not to settle for less than you deserve. It's saying, I'm not afraid to be alone with my self-respect, rather than stay with someone who doesn't truly appreciate me. Yes, it can hurt. It's painful to let go of someone you hoped would be in your life. You might doubt yourself or wonder if you did the right thing. But imagine the alternative, staying and constantly feeling like you have to fight for scraps of attention or prove you're worth caring about. That pain stretches out indefinitely. So choose the short-term discomfort of walking away over the long-term pain of diminishing yourself. You don't have to do it with drama. In fact, the most powerful exits are often calm and collected. Maybe you have an honest, quiet conversation to end it, or maybe you simply stop engaging. No angry tirades, no desperate pleas, just a dignified goodbye. One of two things can happen then. Sometimes the person left behind realizes they made a mistake and tries to win you back. Other times they let you go. But either way you win because you've stood up for your worth. And by the time someone realizes your absence, you might have already moved on to a happier life. In the end, walking away isn't about what it does or doesn't do to the other person. It's about reclaiming your peace. You free yourself to find people and situations that uplift you, and you send yourself a powerful message. I will not trade my dignity for anyone's approval. Stop chasing, start becoming. At the end of the day, everything we've discussed comes down to one idea: stop chasing and start becoming. Instead of worrying about how to make someone like you, focus on becoming someone you love being, someone confident, grounded, and fulfilled from within. Ironically, that's exactly when the right people will find you irresistible. The ancient Stoics would say to focus on what's in your control, your own mind, your own actions. Modern psychology echoes this. A secure sense of self makes for healthier relationships. In both cases, the message is clear. It starts within you. The moment you shift from seeking validation to cultivating your own value, the whole dynamic of your life changes. This journey isn't easy, but it's so worth it. Implement it little by little. Hold back that anxious text, embrace a bit of silence, set a boundary, share just enough, and let others ask for more. With each step, you're building real confidence, and you'll notice that those who only stuck around when you overextended yourself will fade away, while the people who truly appreciate you will shine brighter in your life. Ultimately, true desire and respect flow to those who respect themselves. Be that person. Be the calm, strong presence who doesn't need attention, and you'll find you attract it naturally. If this message resonated with you and you're ready to keep growing, there's another video on your screen right now that will take you even deeper into this journey. I encourage you to keep watching and reflecting. Thank you for being here with me on Be Stoic. Your presence means more than you know. If you found value in this discussion, consider subscribing and joining our community of people building something solid and meaningful from the inside out. Until next time, stay calm, stay true to yourself, and keep becoming someone even silence can't ignore.